Hello, how is everybody today? I'm excited. We had a tropical storm come through here, hurricane or tropical storm. It's still coming through, but our side of it was pretty mild, so we didn't get too much trouble with it at all, which was good. Good rain, good wind, power, going off a couple of times. So fingers crossed the power is still on while we do this, but I think it goes basically pretty pretty much mild on our side, best as I can tell. So anyway, I'm excited to do this card reading. This one with the Lantern Oracle. It's one of my new decks, and it's really an interesting deck. It works with the illuminate the shadows, empower your path. So the card that came forward today was a very interesting card, but I want to give you some background on this deck first, okay? Just so you understand when I read the description on the card. Hi, Debbie. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. Yay. So we are working with this one, Lantern Oracle. And so let me give you there's a little introduction blurb here I want to share with you, because when I read the definition in the card, I want you to understand really clearly what it's talking about. So it says the Lantern Oracle illuminates the four directions of eternal feminine wisdom from her four phases of consciousness: Maiden, which is water; Mother, which is earth; Guardian, which is air; and Crone, which is fire. That makes sense, doesn't it? Each sphere of feminine energy speaks to a stage in our human development and spiritual evolution. The Lantern Oracle invites you to call upon her throughout your journey in shadow work for loving light where clarity, growth, assistance, and healing is needed. See, this is pretty important in there. May it bring you much insight, warmth, and blessings. The Lantern Oracle illuminates the blessings and the gifts to be received from the shadows of change, challenge, and confusion. And you'll see how the second card that I have supports all of this, what this is saying here. Just as the advice of daughters, sisters, friends, mothers, aunties, teachers, grandmothers, and the wise women of our community can help us understand ourselves, so too can the four archetypes of feminine consciousness. The Lantern Oracle is an ever-present and loving, yet candidly unapologetic light in the dark. Together, the young ladies and women of the Lantern Oracle nurture clarity, self-empowerment, and healing. They provide access to the eternal feminine energy, living love and wisdom as medicine to work with, personalize, and integrate. So, what do you think about that? Because I was really, really, really excited when I read that. So here's the card that drew. This one, can you see it? It says Melting Mask. Isn't she gorgeous? Allow your spirit self to shine through the many roles you fulfill. Allow your spirit self to shine through the many roles that you fulfill. So let's talk about this card. A role becomes a mask when it distorts, constricts, or conceals rather than reflects a true expression of our spirit self. A mask typically arises out of the ego's desire to be real and in control, when in fact it is neither. The ego, like the body and emotions, are tools. How about that? The ego is a tool. Of course it is. Their function, when used appropriately and proportionately, is to give authentic form and expression to our spirit self. Drawing this card signifies the impeding loss of a mask to an encounter, an event, or a circumstance that incites its melting. A period of confusion, turmoil, or grief may follow this mask's disillusion. It had once served you in some way, therefore it is a loss that can take some adjusting to, especially if there remains a significant identity with an attachment to this mask. The featured mother, which mother was the energy of earth. It's one of the divine feminine energies that I read at the beginning. The featured mother, which is this one, wishes to assure you that the disillusion of any mask is a blessing. With time, you will begin to see that losing the image of who you thought you were or had believed that you needed to be is, in fact, the liberating path to experiencing all the more that you are. To support you through this time of impending change, tune into your spirit self's light, love, and stillness. Observe which roles in your life feel good, natural, and autonomous. Ask yourself, what are my main roles at the moment? What does each one mean to me? Would I be more or less of myself without it? Would I be seen by others to be more or less without it? Such roles may include mother, daughter, friend, employee, employer, partner, student, or volunteer. When asked, then ask which of these roles are draining, which are energizing, are any fraught with drama or boring? Do any feel like masks stifling me through obligations that I often resent rather than lovingly fulfill? It's a pretty deep card here. Upon reviewing the answers to these questions, and if you want to, you can always play this back and write down those questions and really ask yourself, dig in. This is time for that to surface, time for change. It's happening. So you can let it happen. You can help it happen easier. So upon reviewing the answers to these questions, is there a current role that functions more like a constricting mass that you would love to lose? Excuse me. I would be terrified of melting. Regardless of how you answer, it is important to keep in mind that you are, in essence, none of the roles you have or wish to fulfill, nor any of the restrictive masks of concealment that they may have or might turn into. At most, a role can transparently and joyously express an aspect of your spirit self, looking at it in a different way. Life is always better when you know which roles are fulfilling for you. Be sure to prioritize and enjoy them whenever and wherever possible. And so here it says Mother's message. It is important for a mask to melt once the function it had served tips into detrimentally constricting us at our highest level. So that's a lot of information to take in off of this one card. That's why I thought it was so amazing to get to share this message with you today. It's so much of what we have going on in our world right now, but it's all about our own personal inner spirit self. Now, the other card that I have that accents it and complements it is this one. It's this one. And it says chaos and conflict. Now, isn't that curious? Just in time to gather together again Because when you really dig deep and start changing and realizing that you need to let a mask melt from you of a particular role you felt was important, that is no longer the right paradigm or ideal for you, there you will be going through this chaos and this conflict. So let's talk just a tiny bit about this. Let's just give you some insights on chaos and conflict. Number 33. Now, this is a great card. They go together beautifully, in my opinion. Wow, 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 it's right. Yeah. Thanks, Debbie. 33, chaos and conflict. So opposing forces come together to create a turbulent atmosphere, but consider the value of chaos that serves you well as you become unmoored by it. Scattered to the winds, you leave behind the parts of yourself that you no longer need and disperse seeds to reinvent yourself anew. Now, how's that? That's what's happening in this card, you see. It's changing. It was zebra stripes. It's got a giraffe thing on it. It's moving. It's taking all the giraffe stuff off, and the zebra's coming in, actually being who it needs to be, changing its spots, changing its mask. Although the conflict appears to exist externally, and we've got that going on, because you can put that to directly current events. All of this you can put to current events. Although the conflict appears to exist externally, its essence is also internal, projected inward and causing disarray. If you think about that, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You may find yourself at cross purposes with someone else, facing a storm you feel you can't control. Yet every storm passes, and chaos leads to a reordering of things. Conflict provides a way to see more than one side of a situation. Look upon this as just a moment in time when you may need to take shelter and step away from the fray. Don't be too eager to fight. This is a time to understand rather than be understood. So basically, you come from a place of love in your heart. You step away from it all and let it reveal to you what you need to know for your true divine self to grow in a deeper and deeper way. And that's what this time that's happening right now is all about. For us to reach in to be us. So are you ready? There's nothing to fear. This is a great card. This one's a great card when it shows up, because that means great change is coming. And it's actually here now. So, which mask doesn't fit you anymore? What do you want to really, really, really dig in and reach into your true spirit self and let that shine? Let that shine through. That will be you. That's your true you. Okay? Okay, so tomorrow, I'm excited for tomorrow too, because I have this deck, Beyond Lemuria. So we're going to dig into that tomorrow. So good, huh, Debbie? And you feel it. Yes, you feel it. And so, like I said, these were some really, really deep questions that was asked through this reading, this card. If you listen to this recording back again and write those questions down and really spend some time with it for the rest of this week, you'll be able to get a better clarity on what you're about and what you're about now and what you want to be about, what you want to change to if you have a change coming, which we do. We have a change coming. How are you going to handle it? Through grace and love, or are you going to fight? No need to fight, because that just lowers your energy, it lowers your vibration, it puts you in a different mindset in your brain that you don't need to be in. It makes you lose all control of everything. Love it. Know that this is a great divine plan. You have the divine plan. Okay? Love you. Yay! Good. I'm glad you get the questions. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Talk to you later.